Hello coders, in this video we are going to build a full stack ChatGPT clone using T3 stack. What is T3 stack? T3 stack is just a combination of some useful technologies. This is a combination of NextJs, Tailwind CSS, tRPC, Prisma, NextOth and TypeScript obviously. We are going to build a ChatGPT clone by initializing the project from scratch up to building the full application. We are going to use ChatGPT API. I will build this project along with you. Okay, so I didn't prepare anything to record this tutorial. I am just start building this project and you can see how I approach things, when developing and building web applications, when I do work or when I do some freelancing. Okay, so you can see all the things. So first of all, we will get our ChatGPT API, which is a paid API and it charges a little amount based upon the tokens. And let's visit the ChatGPT API and see how it works. First, we will jump into our computer, our PC or machine, and then we will start building this application. Now, as you can see, I am into my machine and we will search ChatGPT API and introducing ChatGPT and Whisper API. So we will sign up for it. So I will sign in with my account and then I will get back to you. So now you can see I have signed up for the ChatGPT API and you can see the ChatGPT 4 API waitlist. So I will sign up for it also. I have already filled that form. So let's learn how to use chat-based language models. Okay, so we are going to do this. Okay, so chat, and you can see there are other models as well. Learn how to generate, edit image, fine tuning, learn how to train a model for your use case. Okay, what is it? Okay, cool. So you can see we can train a model for ourselves and then we can build an application on top of that. So first we will just build a ChatGPT clone and you can see what is ChatGPT and we will build that. You can see this is our ChatGPT or our ChatGPT platform. We will build a similar UI according to it. And here we can say, hello world ChatGPT. I am recording a video tutorial now and building your clone using the ChatGPT API. How's that sound? Okay, you can see if we type some text and then send a message, then it sends back a message. And it is really cool. Okay, hello world, let's give it hello world. You can see how can I say what can you do, and you can ask it which is the best React framework to use to develop full stack web apps. You can see the first choice is NextJs and we are going to use the NextJs. So let's start our project. Here is our ChatGPT API. As you can see, this is a Python, but we need a JavaScript model. Okay, so is there any JavaScript model or something? Because we need JavaScript. So I think there may be some libraries. You can see Python bindings and Node.js library. We need a Node.js library. You can see here we will specify the model. Let me make it bigger so you can see nicely. Yeah, so we will install the OpenAI API library through npm install OpenAI, and then we will provide these specifications, some model prompt, temperature, maximum token, and we will see what is temperature and max token is. You can see there are other libraries as well which are created by open source creators which you can use. Introduction. Okay, so prompt is write a tagline for an ice cream shop. We serve smile with every scoop. So this is how we will give it a prompt and it will give us an answer of that prompt. We start with an instruction, add some examples, adjust your setting. So you can see the setting here. Suggest 3 names for an animal that is a superhero. Cat, Captain Sparkle, Agent Fluffball, the incredible film dog. Okay, so here you can see. And if we decrease the temperature to 0, let's see what it does. Okay, so I have to, you can see there are credit granted. So okay, so I have granted $18 of credits and that are expired already. So I have to fill my billing details. Okay, so let me do that for just a minute and I will get back to you. So now I have upgraded my billing setting, and if you face this error, you can also submit you can upgrade your billing setting and upgrade to a paid plan and submit your credit card or debit card details. So it will charge you on the basis of month to month. And now I will see, let me refresh this so it will get the correct things. Yeah, so now the temperature is 1 and we can controls, you can see controls randomness, lowering results in less random completion. As temperature approaches to 0, the model will become deterministic and repetitive. Okay, let's try this. Okay, I'm still facing. Okay, so this thing is not working for some reason. The temperature parameter is something which controls the randomness of the output. Okay, so if you give it the same prompt again and again, then it will not give you the same answer if your temperature is 1. But if your temperature is close to 0, then it will give you the similar results. That's what the temperature is. Now we will build our application. You can see we have a quick start, secret, and all the things we can see here. And the pricing we can see. We offer a spectrum of models. You can see GPT-4 is limited beta, but we will use this GPT 3.5. You can see a lot of model, and we will use this GPT 3.5 turbo model. Most capable GPT 3.5 model and optimized for chat at the 1/10 of the cost of text agency 003. So we will not use this, we will use this thing. And max tokens are 4096 up to training data. So this is trained up to September 2021 training data. What are the tokens? Okay, so tokens, you can assume 1500 words is equal to near 2000 tokens. And how many tokens we are given? We are given 4000 tokens. That means we can give a prompt up to what, 4000 tokens are there. Yeah, so we can give 3000 words to ChatGPT 3, or we can say the GPT 3.5 model and GPT 3.5 API, and it will give us the answer for it. Cool. So that's enough about the introduction and the API details. Here we can see the reference. This is how we configure and we do the things, and this is all the details which are given. So now let's start building the application. So first I will open my terminal. We will move to the directory where I want to create this project. So now I am into my folder. Now we will install our project and we will see what to do with it. Okay, so pnpm tlx create t3 app latest chat GPT. Nice and good to go. It should installed all the things for us. TypeScript, Nextjs, Prisma, Tailwind, tRPC. Yes. I want Okay, so it is saying, so import alias is just, we don't have to use relative, or you can say absolute, so that we don't have to use relative imports. That's why I have did this thing. Now here we can see our imports are nice and good. They are not looking ugly, they are looking very good. And in the Tailwind config, in the TS config, you can see this is good. Now what we will do, we will use a library called ui.shatcn.com. ui.shatcn.com. It's a great library, and you can follow this man on Twitter. He posts a lot of good things. You will learn a lot. So we will use this library and it will make our life a lot easier. So first install these libraries which we have already did. Copy this command, install the things. We have already set up this thing. We will use this. Okay, so this is for Tailwind configuration. We will also copy this and we will paste this inside our Tailwind config. So this is just a setting up our configuration and all the things. Okay, so here you can see font family is also imported from Tailwind CSS, or is it? No. So you can see this is a little bit of different, but we will copy and paste the things inside it here. And for the content, keep it this thing. Content is, we don't need this content because we have already set up everything inside our content. Like we will write our component inside the source directory inside this. And for the font family, let's import the font family. Use this. It is saying require statement. So to decrease our strictness, to decrease our TypeScript strictness, or to make our life easier, we will uninstall some of TypeScript packages because they can give you some harder time. So let's remove them. We don't need this thing because they will make your life harder. If you are a beginner developer, you should just skip that. In the future, if you are enough confident with TypeScript, you can proceed with them, but I would not recommend them now. Pnpm install, you can run, and you can see the packages are removed and it's good. You can see the default fonts are something, or you can skip the whole thing. We don't need this font. Number is not assigned to type string. Okay, so it is saying that it should be string, and we will see everything is fixed on. Now we have, I think, set up our thing, but we need one thing more. Inside the library folder, inside here you can create a lib folder, library. Inside it you can create a cn.ts util. Okay, and what it does, let me explain you. You can see this is strictness, and it will go away if you reload your window, because we have uninstalled the two packages which does increase over TypeScript strictness inside our application. So you can see clsx and tw merge. What these both packages does, let's visit them one by one and we will see what they are and what problem does they solve. Like this, if you have similar classes, okay, so you can see here BG is red and BG is this, and when you merge those classes, only BG this one is there, because it will remove classes and it will remove conflict inside your class. And you can see what is this for. So let's assume you have a generic input component. Okay, you have a generic input component and you have a slightly modified input, and you want to pass some p3 class, and you already have some p class here. So now here you have to do something. You have to manage the conflict between those classes. So to avoid that thing, you can just use this, and it will merge those classes and it will remove the conflict for you. So when you pass the p3 and this component already has that p-3 class, then it will remove that class and it will merge them efficiently and it will look nice. CLSX is just for using logic for your Tailwind classes. Okay, so you don't have to do such as things like this. You don't have to write JavaScript for your classes. You can just use this package and it will be much easier for you. And it is very tiny utility package and it will save you a lot of time. So you can see for constructing class name string conditionally. Okay, so you can apply any condition, you can apply any your logic to your Tailwind classes. That's why we use it for. Now we have this CN thing. We have created this thing. You can see, and now inside say pages, inside our source directory, we will create another folder components, and inside it we will copy and paste everything from here. You can see there are a lot of components which can be used. So alert dialog, you can see avatar, button, everything is given to us and it's a good thing. Okay, so you can go here, you can install the things it says and you can copy and paste all the things. It will make your life easier. Cool. And we will, if we need any component, then we will come here and we will copy and paste and utilize this already built components for our application. As for now, let's just proceed and create the ChatGPT clone UI. First we will run this application by running pnpm run dev command inside your terminal. So you can open your terminal inside view terminal or by using control plus tilde. Tilde is the key below escape button. By using control plus tilde shortcut, you can see here control plus tilde on your Mac. If you are on Windows machine, I don't know what it is, but you can search on Google. If you face any issue, you can always search on Google. You can take help of ChatGPT. It's very great that these tools are available. So we will remove everything inside it. If you go to localhost 3000 for now, you will see this is create T3 app. We will remove everything we don't need and we will start from scratch. RAFCE, this is our home page, and we will say we are ready to build the ChatGPT clone. Now you can see our application is running, and let's see if the Tailwind is also working or not. So we will give some padding, BG of white, text of black, rounded. Okay, so BG of black. So you can see our Tailwind is also working. So first let's see how ChatGPT looks and we will copy the UI. You can see this is how ChatGPT looks. Okay, and we will clone this part. We will build a sidebar. We will build this fixed section. This is the history of our chats. This is new chat, and this is the logo, and this is where we will send the message. So now we are ready to build our chat dashboard. So let's start building this. So here we can see this is how ChatGPT dashboard looks like. We have sidebar, then we have this whole box, and here we will type our message, hello world, and it can be maximum of this much height. Okay, and it can't go longer than this. Cool. And I have some extensions, Chrome extensions, which you can also download. It's like Colorzilla, so that we can pick up the color. So first we will pick the color, this gray color. So let's design the whole dashboard. So we will say W full flex. Flex is direction is default row, and then we can say items center. Or I don't think we need this H full, and I think that's pretty good, but we can say here screen, just like that. And here we have two divisions. First one is sidebar. So this is our sidebar. After we have built this whole thing, we can separate them into default components. Okay, and this is our main component, and this has color of which we have selected. So BG dash, and just like that we can give it some color, and it already has H full. We can now give it flex. I don't think we need that for now, but let's give it now flex column, because it has some content in it. W, let's give it width of 20%. Okay, so 1 by 5, it's good. And this has which color? This gray color, grayish color, and we will pick it from BG of. Okay, and now it has width of 4 by 5, which means 80% of the width. And we will also give it relative, so that we can make another division inside it, which is a search box, which is our this box. Okay, and we will give it absolute. We can give it absolute, we can also give it something else, but I think as for now absolute will be fine. If we give it hello world, it will type here and it will scroll from top to bottom just like it. This is how, and it will always be sticky to the bottom. So we can also make it fixed, but as for now I think absolute will be fine. Absolute bottom 2, and that's all. With full flex, so we can make input component inside it just like that. Class name, we will give it some classes, we will give placeholder, send a message, and now let's see how it looks like. pnpm run and dev, and we will see how it looks like. You can see this is our dashboard, but our sidebar is not looking well, and now we can, okay, why is that? Because if we give it screen, I think now it will work. So that may be because of, let's see, we have where elements, inside that this id is next, inside this element we have, and here we have our two divisions, as you can cool, but we have given them both same color, that's why it is not working for me. So let's give them different colors. So I have another selector which selects color in precision like this. Natural, it is called tailwind color picker. Okay, it will pick the color which is near to the tailwind. So bg neutral 800, and if we try to pick it, it will pick sync 700. Now save this and we can see it looks good, and I think 20% width is too much, so I will give it 10% of the screen, and I will give it 90%. It's good, or maybe 50%. You can adjust it as you want. Okay, I would go for 50% and 85%. And now we need to center this thing. Okay, to center this thing, what we will do, we will give it flex, justify center, and items center, and now it is centered to the bottom, and we need to make this look beautiful just like ChatGPT. And we will copy this, text also, so it looks just like, it has color of like somewhat gray, text gray 600, outline none, and we will give it border is also none, and it has some shadow, and the background color is, let's copy that, it has some padding, and I think it is good to go. We have to make it rounded as well. P4 is too much, P2, and what we need to do is we can make it flex column so that it looks just like that. You can see we can make the text white here, so the text will be white. Cool. And the width is, let's give it some width, 80, width of 80, some more, so it is around 320 pixels, so let's double it to 600 pixels. Yeah, it's good. We have to also give some margin to it, my2, or let's give it 4, 3, and we need to make some more changes. The placeholder text should be small, or the whole text should be small. Nice. And the py is 2, but px should be 4, so it almost look like this one, but the color is not matching to the tailwind color. So what we will do, we will use another color picker, which is, I think this should work. Okay, it is not picking up the right color. Let's see if we have any other color picker which is better. What is, so we can inspect it. I think we can find out which color is. This is a packaging, but these are the colors used by ChatGPT. So we'll just copy this all color for now, and we will use them when we need them. Okay, so these are the colors. Let's comment that out. This is the primary and this is the default color. As you can see, it looks better. Secondary, this one. Okay, not, how about this? So this color looks good, and now we will proceed. We will use something like this. This is the icon, and which we will use. We are using lucid.dev icon, and we can search here a send icon, which is this, which is similar to this one. So to use icon with input, we will make another division. We will give it relative class so that we can customize an icon related to this division. And we will now say send icon, import class name, let's give it white, w5 h5, absolute, let's not give it absolute because we need to also center this. So we will wrap this around another division, and we will give this division absolute class. And what we will do, we will give it h full, we will make it flex, item center, justify center to make it center, and now this should work nicely. Okay, so this is basically, we don't need two divisions here. This should work because this is relative and this is the absolute division, which is height full. And now what we need to do is we need to give it a right is 0. Cool. And let's see how it looks. You can see this is our icon, but we have some problem, and the problem is it is visible here when we want it to be here. So what we will do, I think the width is causing the problem, so we will give it width, it's full, and it is absolute, and we will also make it top 0. Yeah, you can now see it is centered and it is looking much better. And instead of busy white, I am trying to say text white. So now you can see this is looking better. We can make it smaller if you want. Yeah, make it 2 or 3 or 4. 4 is perfect. And instead of 0, I would go for 4, I think, or 2. Yeah, it is perfect. So you can see we have made ChatGPT type looking input box. It is pretty good. And we can also make it look nicer. White 50 text access, yeah, or SM would be fine. I think access is okay. We can make it more smaller. It is 12 pixel. We can make it 8 pixel just like that, or 10 pixel. Yeah, it's perfect. We can also make this span border, or we can make it underline, so it looks exactly similar to ChatGPT. And we can give it margin bottom of 1. Now it is better. So we have our send message, this chat box, and now what we need to do, we need to make it clickable, this send. So instead of division, how about we use a button so it is clickable? You can see we can click on this and we can do something with it. So this is good. We can here click on new chat and click new chat. We can clear conversion. All these things can be done, and they can be done pretty easily. But for now, we will just proceed with the functionality part, because the main functionality part and the designing part you can done yourself. So first I will go to OpenAI docs, and here I will install the OpenAI library here. Just like that. I will open a new terminal. I will install this library. So npm install open, yeah, and now I will copy this code. We need chat completion. Okay, so that's why we will use chat completion app. So you can see this is a playground which is created by OpenAI team, and you can play around with different things here. There are a lot of different models, GPT-3, and I want to play around with GPT 3.5. This is complete, this is chat, this is insert, this is edit, different things. And I think we need chat completion. This is what we need. So instead of calling the API, we will just use the OpenAI library, this one. So we have successfully installed the OpenAI library. Now what we will do, we will configure this. So first copy this thing, and we will inside the server, inside the API, inside the router, instead of example we will say OpenAI.ts, and instead of example what we will say OpenAI router. So this is how tRPC works. We create a router and then we call some endpoints here. So these are all API endpoints, and we can call directly them inside our front end. So here you can see, here we will define all our API endpoints. So we can say OpenAI, and we can say OpenAI router, and we can import them from here. We just have to specify, and now auto completion will work out of the box, and it will be very easy to just call these API routes. So we can just say chat completion, and we can call public procedure. Public procedure means anybody can call this API. So this is a public procedure, and anybody can call this API endpoint, and it is unauthenticated. And if you want somebody authenticated person to call this API, you can use this. So if you are integrating NextJs with the application and you want a logged in user, only a logged in user to call this endpoint, then you can use protected. But as for now, we will just use public procedure, because this is just a demo application and that's all we do. So it will accept an input which is a just question. We can say a question z.object. So we will import z from Zod, and here we will define our schema so that it will verify the incoming data, and then if the data has any errors in it, it will throw an error to the client, and the client will know, and we can show any pop-up, anything we want on the client based upon the error from the server. So it's all connected end to end, and it is much easier and very easy to build full stack application using this stack. So z.object, here we can say prompt, and we can say this is a string. So z.string will verify if this is a string. Assume like somebody called this API and passed prompt as a number, then it will throw an error that it is not a string, and it will throw error, and it will work like that. Now we will say we need to query. Inside query we will run a async function like that, and inside the async function we have context and we have input. Inside the context we have Prisma and session, but we are not using any of them. We just need input, and inside the input we are destructuring the prompt just like that. And as for now, we will just console.log prompt, so we will be able to see how it is going around. So now in the front end, when we hit the send button, this API route will hit, and this will do its work. So inside the home, what we can do, const, here we can say send prompt to the server, send prompt, and here we can say API which is imported from utils/API, and it is a client. It is a tRPC client, so that we can call over tRPC routers, and we can call over tRPC router endpoints like chat completion. Any of the endpoint we can call from our client side application. That's why we have this API. So it creates a client. It is based on React query. So here we will say API dot, and here you can see OpenAI is shown because of auto completion. That's the power of tRPC. And we can say chat completion, and we can say use query. It is a query and we want to query it. And here we can specify our input, but we don't want this thing. We only want when the button is clicked, send something. So instead of query, we will use a mutation here. Now it will not ask for us to directly specify the thing here. It will send a post request instead of get request, because we are sending some data with a request. That's why we need a post request, and for the post request we use mutation inside the tRPC thing. So here we have our OpenAI router. Here we have in the front end this use mutation, send prompt. Now when user clicks this button, so we can say on click do something. Here we can say send prompt dot mutate, and here we can specify our data. Here we can say hello world from client, and now we should be able to see this prompt in the console when we try to send it here. So let's move to the console, go here, localhost 3000, type anything, click the send button, and now you can see hello world from client. It is working. Okay, now what we need to do when we type something here, let's say hello from clubofcoders.com, and when we hit the submit button, or when we click on the send button, it should send this prompt to the server. For that we have to manage this state. To manage this state, we can just use a use state hook, which will manage the state for us. So we can say prompt set prompt, and it is initially string, empty string, and when we change this input field on change, it will accept an event, and we will set the prompt to event.target.value, just like that. Not send prompt, set prompt. So now our prompt state have the data, and instead of sending this, we will send the prompt we have as a state. But in the JavaScript, instead of saying prompt, we can just do that simply. So it will work similarly. It will work similarly to this, okay, in the object. So now if we try to hit something, but here we should make a check. If prompt is empty string, don't send anything. If there is not prompt, then alert prompt is empty. If we try to hit send, it will say prompt is empty. And when we try to say hello from ChatGPT clone, and we hit this button, so now we should be able to see this in the server. Okay, so that's how we are sending the data from client side to our server. Now we have to process this data, and we have to send this data, which is our prompt, to OpenAI server. OpenAI using OpenAI API, which we are given here. So we should copy this. We have already installed the OpenAI library here, so we can just, instead of you require, we can say from OpenAI. We don't need to use the comma here. You can just, instead of this, what I will do, we will say import. I will say import from OpenAI, and inside we have different things. What we need here, we need configuration. Other than that, we need OpenAI API. Import both of these from OpenAI, and now we are good to go. In the environment variables, as for now, if we go to env, we don't have env file. We have this env file. We don't have anything here. So here we should specify this OpenAI API key. So paste your OpenAI API key here. I will do that, and I will hide this because I don't want to show my OpenAI API key to the world, and you should also hide it because it is a secret and we don't want to make it public. Now I have got my keys, my OpenAI API keys from this URL, and you can get it too. This is the URL where you can get this, all the OpenAI API keys. And after you have got the keys and you have saved inside env file, we can remove the process, and we should be able to see the auto completion not working, and we have to update our env.mjs file here, and we can remove this because we don't need it. We can say OpenAI API keys is z.string, and here we can remove this Discord thing, we don't need it, and we can say process.env.OpenAI API key, just like that. And here now we should be able to see the auto completion here. Env import from @/env.mjs, first import it, and if you can now see auto completion working. So now we have our OpenAI API library set up nicely. So create completion, model, prompt, temperature max token. So we will copy this thing, we will come here and we will paste this thing and we will try to log to the console what it gives to us. We will see what it does. We can remove unused import, and now instead of prompt we will just use this because we have prompt here. Instead of doing this again, as I told you, we don't need to do prompt like 2 times. We can just use like this and save this. And now in the front end, where is our front end? Here is our front end. If we try to send it, we should be able to see something here in the console log. So hello from ChatGPT clone, send it. Now we have something. You can see we have some response, which is great because status is 200, status is okay, it has headers, it has request, and we should have something called response.data. Here we have the data, and this is our main thing we need, response.data. Now save this, send this again. Now we can see our data and we can see it is giving us something. It is giving us ID, it is giving us as text completion, model is text DaVinci 003, choices is this, users are this. We have used 7 tokens by using this much of string. Okay, so we don't want to use the create completion thing, we want to use a lot of other things are here, you can see. So we will use immediately cancel a fine-tune job. Okay, so these are some of functions which are given to us by OpenAI library. Create a completion for the chat message. Okay, so we want this thing. We want chat completion, and here is completion. Create a completion for provided prompt and parameter. So we want this chat completion thing. As you can see here, this is our chat and we want the chat completion. Cool. And we will use this GPT 3.5 turbo model, okay, because it is cheap and it is by far the most advanced model. Okay, and here we have our messages, the messages to generate chat completion for in the chat format. And now, okay, so it is saying good. Instead of prompt, we need messages. We need all messages, the message to generate chat completion for. And what are the other things we have? We have frequency penalty, we have logit bias, and how many chat completion choice to generate for each input message. Presence penalty, stop stream. If set partial message, deltas will be sent like in ChatGPT. Tokens will be sent data only. So this means we are not sending the whole message at once. We are sending one by one, or we can say in parts. So this is how we are streaming the response. But I think we will just use a messages here, which is to generate chat completion for. Okay, and how it is defined, you can see the messages are given to it like this, the array, and where the role is role and content. So this is how we need. So the main input message must be an array of message object where each object has a role and content. Okay, so we need 2 things, role and content. So the thing which we are getting here, so instead of saying it prompt, we can say it message from user. Okay, instead of saying prompt, we can say message from user. So instead of saying send prompt, we can say send message, because actually we are sending message. And here we can say message from user is prompt, which is our thing, which is our text. Cool. Now here what we will do, here we will pass a array here, and the array will be all the objects like this. Okay, so we can say the role, you can see the auto completion is here, the role, content and name. So the role is, it is giving us auto completion. So the role is user and the content is, which is message from user. So this is how we have sent this message, and now we will expect some response from it. So let's try it and let's do something here. After we have sent the message, okay, so what we will do, on success we will receive some data. So let's send the response data to the front end, and after it is successfully done, we have something, console.log data. Now here we can see choice created model object uses data.choices. Here we will just print out the data. Here we will also set the prompt to empty string, because we want to reset our form, and we should use a form here. So that if we hit enter button, it will work like charm. And we can see on submit event, and here we can say event.prevent default, so that it will not refresh the page. And here we can put the same logic here. We can remove this on click from here, and we can do this, and we can say this button is the type of submit button, just like it. We can save this. Now it is looking better. We are setting the prompt to empty string, and now we need to render the messages. So we'll see how to render the messages and what the data we are getting. So let's first try to see what the data we are getting. So open the console, clear the thing. Let me make it bigger so that you can see. Yeah. So hi from ChatGPT clone. I am building a user interface on top of ChatGPT, or we can say OpenAI API. How are you? Click hit enter, and now you can see something happen. Internal server error, prompt is not defined. Okay, so you can see prompt is not defined. What happened? And open the terminal. Here we can see the prompt is not defined. What is happening is, okay, so we are logging the prompt and we don't have any prompt, so remove this. Now it should work. Hit enter again, clear the console first, hit enter, and you can see we got some data. Okay, so we have successfully sent the message to ChatGPT server or the GPT server, and it is saying hello as an AI language model, and it is not completing the whole message, as you can see here, because we are setting the max token here, the maximum number of token allowed for the generated answer. By default, the number of tokens the model can return will be 4096 prompt token. Okay, so here we are defining 7 tokens, so that's why it is not giving us the full answer. So we will remove this, and this is our temperature. What sampling between 0 to higher value like 0 will make more random, make it more focused and deterministic. We generally recommend altering this top P but not both. Okay, so we can alter this. We can randomly pick a value between something from 1 to 1.5, or we can set it something like 0.8. I think let's go for 0.8, and we will see what it looks. So it's the same message. Hit enter, cleared everything. Now we should be able to see the full message. Hit enter. Okay, the prompt is empty because we have cleared this, but it is not looking clear because we have did another mistake. So okay, so we have got something. It is saying as an AI language model, so we should print the data here. Where is data dot choices? And we should fix one thing, which is we are setting the prompt on change input, but we are not providing a value to it, which is prompt. That's why it is expecting somewhat odd. Now hi from ChatGPT clone, how are you? Hit enter, and now you can see the message and the box is cleared, and now we can see the message from ChatGPT API. As an AI language, I don't have emotions, I am functioning well, how can I assist you today? Cool. And let's ask him something about React. What is React state? Hit enter, and we will see it returns us something. It is saying React state is an object that contains data that determines behavior. Okay, so it is sending us a long message, and let's copy this whole thing, and you can see the message is clear and it is looking good. Now we need to do one thing. We need to render this data here. Okay, and we need to also render over data here. Whatever we are asking, we should render it over here. So for that, you can see we have got the message here also. So to render the data, we must append our chat here first thing, then we have to render this data, and we also need to make sure that we are passing the right conversation here, the messages, this thing. So now we will build this functionality. So now as we can see, this is, we are calling an API or this router endpoint chat completion. We are giving it a message, and then we are returning some response. So what we need to do is we need to maintain the whole state. We need to maintain the whole message state one by one, so that we can render it properly on the client side. Okay, so first let's build that part. So here we are rendering this whole thing, and here we have our chat. So this is our division. This will take full width, and as you can see here we will render some of our text which is completed. So this is a division, so you can assume it is a user message which we have sent to ChatGPT, and it will complete it, and it is the message of the ChatGPT message, just like it, and it is a division. So let me just open ChatGPT quickly so we can see what is happening there. So this is our ChatGPT, and here we can see if we send a hello world message and press enter, and you can see here we have our model. Here we can say hello world, and this is our profile image. Instead of profile image, we can use any avatar, but as for now we will skip that part. So what we will do, so this is our color. So here we can say class name, flex items to center, and justify also center. Inside we have two things, we have two divisions. This is for avatar, and we can just make it a BG of black for now, I think black 50, and we can make it rounded, full width of 10, h of 10, so it looks like an avatar. Here you can render your image, or you can do that as a practice for yourself, and here we will render the message. So lorem ipsum, and here we can set 10. So this is our message, and let's see how it is looking. Yeah, but we need to also fix the background. We need to have this color, so we will say this has the background of, okay, just like it, and the text is white, text color is white. Now let's have a look. Yeah, but we also need to make sure that it has a nice padding of 6. Let's give it padding of 6, and text, let's give it small. I think small will be nice. Yeah. Now we need to also give these divisions some margin, so we can say space, give it every children element space of like 4. So now you can see there is some space between the avatar and the text. We can say it 8. So it looks good. So we can see that this is our text, but also we can see in the ChatGPT that the Y padding is much more, but we can proceed for now. So whenever we send some message, it should show up here. Okay, and then the ChatGPT message should show here. So for that, what we need to do, we need to render the response which we got from here. So here we can say, instead of this, we have to render this. So first we will render from the demo data. We can say array dot from. This is just for demo, so let's see how it works. So length is, and let's assume 2, or let's go for 4. Dot map. So this gives us a array which has undefined values, and here we can render our whole thing. So instead of this, we have to wrap this inside a division. Yeah, and we need to give a key. We can give it index as a key. Now it is good. So now you can see we are rendering 4 times, but we also need to render the same thing here. So copy this, paste here, and this is the message by ChatGPT, and the color is also different, which we will get it from here. Copy this color. Yeah, you can see the color is different, but it is centered. We want text to item centered, justify start would be nice. Okay, so it's not working like that. So what we will do, we will give it whole width, we will make it center, we will make it flex column, items center. Let's see. I think this is the wrong approach. So what we need this thing to be centered. So we can give some margin to it. I think that will be nice. We can give it some margin. MX of, let's assume 52. You can see, not margin, we should give it padding. We can give the same padding to the above division also, but here is one thing we can make. We can wrap this inside another division. So what I'm saying is, this is our ChatGPT message. We can make it center for now. We can make it center, and now we can give it some specific width, so it stays same. Okay. So what I'm saying is, wrap this whole thing inside a division. Let's give it some width. Let's give it 60, 72. Cool. Give it some widths, and we will see what is happening. Yeah, now you can see it is in the center, and we will do the same thing. We will do flex, and we will give everything to. I don't need this thing here. Now you can see, but we need to give it flex none, so it doesn't, and the width of 72 is less. That's why I think we need to give it some more. We can give it 90%. How about that? Yeah, it's good, but 50%, it's good, but it is not looking like centered. For that, we need to give it some width. It's good, but we can make it full width, and we can see max width, max width of large 576 pixel. Yeah, that's good. That's good. So now we can just copy this whole thing, because it's same, just the color is difference. Now it is centered. We'll say this is another message. Now you can see we are rendering all the messages to start. Okay, that's why I have did all the things. Now if we send a message, and here we should make that this is the message from ChatGPT, so we can copy this whole image here, hello world. So we can just get this ChatGPT. Okay, so it's a SVG. Instead of doing this, what we can do, we can get ChatGPT logo. It's good. Go to images. I think it will work. So I will save these images. I will save this image, or I can directly get a link, copy image address, and we can use this image address directly inside of. So here what I can do is, I can use directly the image. Yeah, it's good. And I can say the alt tag is ChatGPT logo, just like it. Save this, and now we can see this is looking nice. So now we have our ChatGPT interface. Now we just need to render our messages. So here we will render the message from ChatGPT. Here we will render the message from user. So we have to manage the whole state. For that, we will define a state. Now we are just setting the prompt, but instead of this, what we will do, we will make another state, and we will say it messages. It is an array of something. It is an array of role, and the role has something, and then it has something. So first it is empty. So here we will define our state type here. So here we can say we have role, and role can be a user or a role can be assistant. And another thing is content. Content is just a string, and this is an array. Now initially it is empty, you can see. So now if you hover over the messages, you can see this is an array of role, content, and the array. Okay, so save this thing, and this is the messages, and this the whole thing which we will pass here, and we will get this thing from our client. And when we send the message, so here we are setting the prompt. When we send the message, so here we can say messages, not a message. Here we can say the messages, or we can modify the whole array here, but we need to pass the state so that we can remember the history of the chat. Okay, so here we can say messages, and the messages is z.array, and what the array is z.object. Inside it we have two things. We have a role which can be z.what, z. We can see there should be something called enum. I think we can use the enum, or we can use a string by default. That would be easy, but I think enum would do our work. So here we can say it can be the user, or it can be the assistant. And another thing we have is content. Content is just z.string, just like it. So now we have a array which is role, which can be either of these two things, and we have content. So now it will verify that this post request contains these things, otherwise it will throw the error. So here we have messages, and not messages, and here we will pass whole messages just like this, or instead of doing this we can directly pass this. Cool. And here we will log our choices, which is our messages array. Now we have done everything on the backend side. We just need to configure our front end side. So here you can see the error is coming where we are sending the messages. So it is saying that we need to pass the messages. Okay, and what we need to do, we need to attach the messages, and we need to send the whole thing. So we need to send this whole thing here. So now it is not complaining, you can see, but we have to set the messages every time this thing changed. So when the input is changed, we are doing something. So what we can do now, when we change the input, we need to configure our messages thing. So for that, what we can do, we can set the messages, and we can say give me the previous messages, and now we will set the messages thing. So here we can say we will make a copy of previous messages, or we can do directly it. Okay, we can do directly. So we have an array, we just need to return an array. Okay, again, okay. And what we will do, we will spread the previous messages, and we will say append the last message, which is a object. We can say role is user, and the content is event.target.value, just like it. So we are setting the whole messages thing, but we need to also make sure that we set the prompt, or instead of doing this, we need to do this because we are rendering the whole thing here. So now instead of this array, what we will do, we will render the messages. In the messages we have object, and the object contain two things, role and content. So we can say here, we can say if the object dot role is equal to what, is equal to, here we will render the message from user. So here we can say if the role is user, then render this thing, or if the object, here we can say if the object dot role is equal to what, is equal to assistant, which is our ChatGPT assistant, then render this ChatGPT, and here we will render the content. So here we can say object dot content, here we will also render object dot content. Yeah, it's good, and we are rendering the messages now. But I don't think we need to do this here, because we don't need to do this. We can just set the prompt, and when we hit the send button, we should get some data, and we will look into the data, and we will see what to do. Yeah, so we need to set the messages like this, and when we hit enter, we need to send the messages, and then we need to do this. Yeah, so it's good, actually it is good, but only we don't need to render the last messages. So what here we need to do is don't return the last thing. If object.role is user, let me show you what I'm saying, then you will learn. Currently you will confuse if I tell you what so here you will say hello. You can see this is being rendered again and again, and this is bad. I don't want this, because it is setting this thing again and again instead of doing it only once. So for that, we only need to set this thing when we hit the enter. Okay, so we only need to send content is prompt. Okay, content is prompt, and we need to just send them, or it will not work, because we need to make another state, which is copy of the messages, So here we can say copy messages is equal to messages dot 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 messages, spread the messages, and then we will define our thing here. We can say the role is user and the content is prompt, and these are the copied messages, and now we can set them directly here. We can set them directly here, just like it will complain that it is not correct, but yeah, and we will send these copied messages here. It will complain, but we will fix this. How we will fix it? We will define a class here. We will define a type here. We'll say the type is message type. We will say it is the whole type. This is a message type, and this is the message array, and the same thing we can do here. So now it will work. So we are sending the current content prompt, including the current one, and I think we should only set this thing when we send this and this request is successful. But yeah, we can make this like this for now. So now we will see what is happening here. We will hit refresh. You can see now it is not, and when we hit enter, you can see the hello world is being rendered here, and now we should be able to see some data, and here it is sending that hello, how can I assist you today. Nice and easy. We need to append this message to our messages, and we should also get something in our console.log. Yeah, in the object we have choices. Inside we have the choices array. Inside the first object we have the message, and this is saying that how can I assist you. So we need to set this messages. We need to set this message, and we need to send the whole thing. So what we can do, we can set messages here. We can say we have the previous message, and then spread the messages, previous messages, and set the role, which is assistant, and the content is data, which we get from the API choices, and we can say 0 first one, and the message dot content. So we can set it will complain that undefined is not assignable to this. So for that, what we can do, we can check if this exists, then do this. Otherwise, now it should work. What it is saying, we should make it is defined only, then do this. Is complaining again. So if we remove this should not complain. This is just because of this. So if we have data.choice, if we have the message, and then if we have the content. So I think this is not how it should define, and the whole thing dot content not equal to empty, or we can make it pool. Okay, so it is again complaining. So what we can do, we can make it is not equal to undefined, then on it is still complaining. I'm not sure about that, why it is happening. Let me just quickly fix. So what we can do, we can say assistant content is equal to, and now you can see it can be string, and if it is defined only, then set. Now there is, now we should be able to see something here, should be able to complete. Hi, now the request is complete, and now you can see ChatGPT response. Okay, and our state contains now this whole thing, hi, and this what is you, and now it will, as I do not have a, but you can address me in OpenAI, how can I help you today. Now we will say, what did I ask you in my first question. You said hello world. You can see we have said hello world common. Okay, so you can see that this whole thing is working now. We are sending the message and we are getting a message, and how cool is that? You can see how cool is that. Okay, and see, this is what is React hook. Now it will answer us what is React hook. Let's see. Yeah, we are not able to scroll, so let's build that functionality also. We are not able to scroll. Why is that? Because we are rendering the messages here. We are saying h full, but we should give the margin of y to 10 and overflow y should be scroll. Now we can see we can scroll it, but yeah, it's not looking good. So what we can do is we can give some more bottom, only bottom 40 something. It's still not working. Let's fix that. Why it can happen? It's full. We need more margin bottom. 96 about how sometimes you have to figure things out. So what we'll do, we will say border of red of 500, and we will see what is happening. Hello world, generate 1000 words of story related to React, and now it will generate 1000 words of story for us. Let's wait for some time. We should show a loading indicator here. We should show a loading. You can see this is still waiting because 1000 word generation can take some time. Now it is generated. Now you can see, yeah, it's good. It took some time, but yeah, it is generated. Yeah, once upon a time in a magical kingdom called Webtopia, there is a young programmer named Alice. Yeah, it's too good. But I think we need to do some fixes here. Why is that? Because the border is not looking now. Border is 4. Let's see. Yeah, so it is the whole thing that is scrollable now. And if we give margin bottom to it, let's give it 50, 52. Okay, so it will not work. We have to give some padding of bottom. Yeah, now you can see it's working. Because the margin is outside of this, the padding is inside. Now that's why, that's the problem we got. and this icon should be on top. So for that, what we can do, we came here and now we can items center, we can say start. No, so this is flex. Okay, this. So now the both are center and it is flex. So this will center the items on the horizontal axis. This will center on the y-axis. So we can say items start. Now it is looking better, and now you can see. And we should make the background of this thing so that it will not look like this. Okay, so what we can do here is, I think this part is not looking good to me. So we can give it a background of what. Let's give some background to it. Or we can, how can we make it blur, background blur something? No, I don't think we should give it the color of the same, this one. Now see, it's looking good. And what we can do, we can remove the border for now, and we can, instead of bottom 0, we can make it bottom 0. Now it is good. And we can give this thing some shadow of white. I think would be nice. No, it's not. We can make it look like 50. Okay, not opacity part. Yeah, it's better, but I think BG of white would do the work. BG of gray of 400, how about that? So you can figure that part out. So you can see we have created our thing, and when it is loading, we should show some loading indicator. So what we can do, if it is loading, this is the user, this is the assistant, and we can show here something. We can show send message is loading. We can show a loading indicator here. Okay, so for that we can make a division. Inside of division, we can say loader to class name, give it w5, h5, animate spin, text is white, and as for now, let's test it. You can see the loading indicator, and we only want this loading indicator if the object dot, not object, if the message is dot length -1 is equal to the I. That means we should only want to render the loader at the last. And to verify this, we can make it, yeah, you can see the loader is being rendered at the last, and we can also make it centered. So for that, let's copy this whole thing, or for now just copy this whole class. The color should be this one. The color should be this one, because it will render after we have sent some message. Right now everything looks good to me. This part is not looking good. If you comment the whole thing out, yeah, okay, we did some mistake. We pasted the color over. It's good. Now we need to copy the whole thing here, and we can paste it here. That would do the work that we want. Okay, and now we can remove this, and we should try another. What give me a ChatGPT joke? And now you can see the loading indicator, and after it loads, sure, here is joke for you. Why was the computer called? Because it left its windows open. So okay, so it's now working. How are you? And now you can see the loading indicator, and now we have created a ChatGPT clone. Okay, so I think that's all for now. Let me just open my camera. Congratulations for creating the ChatGPT clone using the T3 stack. If you want to learn more about T3 stack, enroll in my course, in which I have taught a lot of things like using external API, image uploading part, authentication part, database design, and a lot of things. You can visit the link in description, and you can purchase the course if you want. In this course, you will learn a lot of things, and I hope you like this tutorial. Please share this tutorial with your friends, subscribe to the channel, and like the video. And please share any thoughts you have about any other tutorial you want, or any project you want me to create. I would love to build it using the T3 stack. I love this stack because it is super fast to build applications which are type safe. That's all for now. I will see you in another tutorial or another course. Thank you.